Technical debt may sound like something insignificant at first, like something that could just be worked out, but if you let it get out of control, it could just stack on top of itself. It'll slow down your feature development and make it more difficult to retain developers sometimes because they just don't want to work with your systems. I mean, imagine buying a luxury car and then every time you drive it, you just keep patching it up to keep it running. Over time, the patches outweigh the luxury. In the world of software development, this tech debt can cripple your project's future. It could become so severe that it might hinder your ability to be acquired by another company that just wants to give you tons of money and make it impossible for you to cash out. So I'm going to be talking about how to handle tech debt, how to reduce it if it becomes too much, and how to keep it from getting out of hand. So let's start by defining tech debt. Just as financial debt accrues interest, forcing you to pay more in the long run, technical debt in software development represents the cost for taking shortcuts or opting for less optimal but quicker solutions. Think of it as the price you pay later for a seemingly efficient decision made today. Yet, not all technical debt is accrued unknowingly. Sometimes developers take on debt for strategic leanings, for meeting a critical deadline, and then fully intending to address it later. Conversely, unforeseen debt can sneak in due to oversight, lack of knowledge, or unforeseen changes. Both types have their consequences, but understanding the origin can help shape our approach in tackling them. But let's face it, the ever-evolving nature of software development means that the once perfect solution might become a liability. Changing requirements or shifts in the technology landscape can suddenly render an existing implementation obsolete. And finally, an overlooked but critical culprit is inconsistency. The absence of clear coding standards or patchy documentation. Without these guideposts, maintaining or scaling projects becomes a maze of unpredictability. So let's talk about a list of items to add to your checklist to help keep technical debt under control. This could be anything from a unit test to end-to-end testing. Catching technical debt early is half the battle, and that's where automated testing shines. By implementing a robust testing strategy, teams can spot inefficiencies, bugs, or areas of potential debt accumulation early on. These tests guard against the intrusion of unwanted debt and ensure systems integrity. And how does this do this? Well, first and foremost, it tells you that the code you just wrote does what you expect it to do. But test-driven development helps you to write more than maintainable code. So if you write your test first, you're going to produce code that you can extend easier over time. And it'll be more understandable in the future for those who might have to work with the same files and the same code that you just wrote. Next is code quality. I would say to adopt auto formatters, linters, and anything that can pretty much enhance code quality. And then add it into your continuous integration tools. CI tools can help teams detect, address, and prevent integration problems in almost real time. By seamlessly merging individuals' code into a shared repository, CI ensures that the combined code base remains cohesive and debt-free. It can happen on committing to a repo, or it could happen when you create a PR, and then your code can move on to code review if it didn't pass those checks that were defined for quality code, or even end-to-end testing. But hopefully it doesn't even make it out to your remote branch, because if you have sufficient tools installed in your local environment, that let's say whenever you need to save a file, any checks that need to be run could be done so on save. But if it does slip by the developer in the local environment, because of the CI service, it could be caught after pushing the code out, but before that branch gets merged out into production. And the next one is design patterns. This one sort of extends from the previous one in that it focuses on quality code. But you need to slow down in order to create better code, to invest in better coding practices, design patterns, and maybe some documentation. This is so the application has a solid foundation in case of developer attrition, and in case any other developer needs to just step in and hit the ground running. One of the biggest problems that founders make, and most of the time non-technical founders, is that they'll push developers to ship out things faster and sacrifice quality. And that's pretty much almost everything we're talking about in this video. And that's where technical debt turns into a mountain that's impossible to move, because 5,000 to 10,000 lines of code later, you're going to start to slow down. You're going to start to see regression bugs that are constantly being introduced because you have dependencies that really shouldn't be there. So don't make your developers make quick fixes that might lead to technical debt. Next on the list will be regular audits. Software projects benefit immensely from routine audits. By employing specialized tools and manual reviews, teams can assess the state of the code base. These audits can illuminate problem areas and uncover hidden efficiencies. And it could provide a clear snapshot of accumulated technical debt and act as a first line of defense. And hey, let's face it, sometimes you have to make trade-offs in the name of speed. But if you're making some pretty significant ones, you're going to have to refactor later, or at least as soon as you can. And make sure it's not too much later because, that mountain will grow. And the next one on my list is version updates. This is one that we might all be guilty of at some point because we do get scared of updating the version of some package. Right? Because new versions always release, probably because of some security vulnerability or some new feature. And when you adopt these new features, something could indeed break in your application. In general, this should be something that should be considered as part of the regular audit. Just open up a ticket and work on it when you can. But take care of it while the pain from the update isn't too bad, because it's only going to get more painful the longer you wait. And finally on my list, required code reviews. Mandating code review is akin to peer review in academic research. It upholds a standard of excellence. When developers scrutinize each other's work, several layers of benefits unfold. First, it ensures that the code aligns with established standards and best practices. This peer oversight often catches errors or inefficiencies that might otherwise slip through. Plus, these reviews often promote knowledge sharing, with developers gaining insights from their colleagues' approaches and solutions. Over time, this collaborative process cultivates a cohesive team coding style, and it basically promotes collective responsibility. Ultimately, mandatory code reviews not only enhance the quality of output, but it also contributes to the personal growth of each team member. And most importantly, it reduces technical debt. I think that's about it for this list. Proactivity is our guiding light, urging us to anticipate challenges before they happen, or at least before they spiral. Hey, I'm curious about your journey with technical debt. Share your experiences with me below. Any hurdles you face or any strategies that you employed. Together as a community, we can ensure that our software endeavors remain agile and efficient.